Merry Christmas, friends! I am so excited that we get to be together on Christmas Eve. I mean, it's not quite the same without you guys right here in this space with me, but this is the next best thing, and we're getting pretty used to doing all of this virtually anyway. So I am glad that we can share this good news of this wonderful night all together. I am sure that you all know what today is, right? Oh, did you hear that? It looks like somebody's trying to join us. Just a second. 1 minute, let's see who's trying to come in here. Oh, Santa? Santa Claus? Is that you? I didn't expect to see you tonight. I thought you would be busy. I'm just in the middle here of talking to our friends about the reason that we're celebrating tonight. What are you doing here? Oh, Santa, you're muted.
Well, look at that. So, Christmas is full of surprises, isn't it, Pastor?
It sure is.
Right. And this year is such a surprise for all of us. And it is indeed a surprise for Santa as well. It's been so different this year with this pandemic. I have not had an opportunity to see the children at the malls. I haven't been to their parties. And all the other visits I make before the big night,
Yeah,
which is
it's been
tonight.
really different.
So it's like I'm not doing anything, and then tonight I'm going to jump into the sleigh, and myself and the elves that help, we're going to go like mad. So we'll be out there for sure.
Oh, I can't wait to see you. I know my kids are excited.
Yeah, but Pastor, here's the thing. Since it isn't so busy, it's given me more time to think.
Uh-oh.
And I have some questions for you.
Okay. I mean, I understand. We're all missing out on the things that we normally do this time of year. I bet many of our friends that are watching tonight, I bet many of them are really missing you too. I'm so glad that you found time to visit me tonight. I'd be happy to help you think about your questions. What do you got for me?
Well, this might sound like a dumb question.
Nope, Santa, there are no dumb questions. Whatever it is that's on your mind, if it's worth thinking about, it's worth talking about. So lay it on me.
Well, I've been thinking a lot about Christmas. I mean, actually, I think about Christmas all year long. But lately, I've been thinking about the meaning of Christmas. I mean, I know what I do. I love all of the children so much that I bring them all sorts of goodies and stories we have told for a very long time. But I think there's more to Christmas. I think there's more than just Santa and presents. I know you celebrate Christmas, so I thought maybe you could help me figure out what the meaning of Christmas is.
Wow, well, that's a pretty big question that you got there, especially coming from you, Santa. But we can certainly talk about it and see what we can come up with together. What have you come up with so far? What are you thinking?
Well, I think Christmas must be about love, because that's where I come in. I help people give gifts to one another to show how much they love each other. But sometimes all this gift giving gets complicated, and it doesn't seem like it's about love at all. Do you think Christmas is about love?
Well, love absolutely sounds like a pretty good start to the meaning of Christmas. But love is kind of a big idea, so maybe we could try to get a little bit more specific. What else do you know about Christmas?
Well, let me think. A lot of the houses I visit at Christmas have a bunch of decorations. So it could be about making things fancy. But that doesn't really seem right. Some of the houses have this one kind of decoration that I've always been curious about. In fact, there's one right over there.
Yeah.
What is that called anyhow?
Well, this is our nativity scene. Some people call it a creche. It's a portrayal of the original Christmas. There are hundreds, there are probably thousands of different kinds of nativity scenes. Some that look like this one, some that are carved out of wood, some made out of stones or even yarn. I bet you, Santa, have seen all sorts of kinds of nativity scenes.
Oh, yes, I have. They're as different as every house. And some are beautiful and some are a little crazy, but I think they still tell the same story. So, do you mean it's about telling the story of Jesus's birth? I knew that had something to do with it. I've always meant to learn more about it, but I'm always just so busy. Do you think if we looked at the nativity scene, we could discover the meaning of Christmas?
Santa, that is a great idea. So how about we start at the beginning? We have, you see the woman right here? She's kind of folding her hands and
Oh, yeah,
praying.
yeah.
So that's Mary. It all started when an angel came to Mary and told her, don't be afraid. You're going to have a baby, and the baby will be God's son. As you might imagine, Mary was pretty shocked. She was engaged to Joseph, so that's the man right there holding his lantern next to her. But they weren't married yet, and she thought it was impossible that she would be going to have a baby.
Hmm. Well, that does seem complicated. Mary was put in kind of a risky position, wasn't she? But I like what the angel said. Don't be afraid. It's God's baby.
Exactly. Those might just be two of the most important meanings of Christmas. Don't be afraid. This is God's baby.
Two? How many meanings does Christmas have? I'm going to have to start taking notes.
Well, you were right. It is really about love, but there are a lot of particular things love can mean in our lives. And the Christmas story shows us a whole lot of them. Love can look like not being afraid. Love can look like this little baby who's born in this world.
I know. Well, so what happened next?
Well, once Joseph found out that Mary was going to have a baby, he was ready to run in the other direction. He hadn't expected a baby either. So Joseph needed a little bit of convincing to stick around. An angel came to him too, and the angel said, do not be afraid. The angel told Joseph that he should still marry Mary and that she was going to have God's baby and that they should name him Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, huh? I thought his name was Jesus.
Well, yes. Jesus has a lot of names in the Bible, and Emmanuel is one of them. Emmanuel means God with us. That's another meaning of Christmas. Jesus' birth showed the world that God isn't just up there in heaven, far, far away. God is right here with us.
Emmanuel, God with us. Yeah, I like that. Oh, okay, so we have Mary and Joseph, and the angel gave them both the same message. Don't be afraid. It's God's baby. This must be a really important meaning of Christmas if it's repeated like that.
I think you're right.
So that's Mary, and that's Joseph,
Mhm.
and the baby in the scene must be Emmanuel. I mean, Jesus.
Right?
But why are there all these animals around? It looks like a barn, not a place for a newborn baby.
Well, when Mary was pregnant with Jesus, and I mean really pregnant, the emperor demanded that everyone return to their hometown to be counted in a census. So Mary and Joseph had to make this really long journey to a place called Bethlehem. I mean, I can't imagine what it must have been like for them. I wouldn't have wanted to ride on a donkey and be so far from home with a baby on the way. But they didn't have any choice. When they got there, Mary was ready to have this baby, but there was no place to stay. So Jesus was born in a stable. where the animals lived. That's why you usually see hay and a manger. It's like a feeding trough. That's where Jesus first slept. You can see it right
Wow.
there.
Wow. I guess every story needs a bad guy, just like the Grinch. Someone's always trying to ruin Christmas.
I think you're right. And can you believe that God wanted to join us in this world anyway? Even a world that's full of people like the Grinch who are selfish, who want nothing to do with the spirit of Christmas, and certainly nothing to do with God either.
And a world that didn't even make room for God to be born. No deluxe accommodations, not even for God.
Exactly. And God came into this world anyway. That's how much God loves us.
I see. That's another meaning of Christmas, isn't it?
You've got it, Santa.
Well, what about the other guy? The one over there with the sheep.
Yeah, right down there, the one who's kind of kneeling with his hand over his heart.
Yeah, what's he doing there?
So that's the shepherd. Once the baby was born, the word got out and people started showing up.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you, if I was in the area, I would have showed up for that. That's pretty a pretty cool thing going on there. How did the word get out? Wait, don't tell me. I'm guessing it was an angel again?
It was, but not just one angel this time. One angel comes to deliver the message, but the whole sky lights up and is filled with what the Bible tells us is a multitude of heavenly hosts. That's just a fancy way of saying a whole lot of angels in the sky. The angel tells these shepherds where to go, and they follow a star to find Jesus.
Wow, the whole sky? That sounds incredible. You know, when I'm flying around up there in the sky in my sleigh, the stars do remind me sometimes of how amazing and just big God is. It must have been really obvious that night.
Well, it was obvious to the shepherds, at least. I mean, they were out there in the pastures, watching out for their sheep when this whole terrifying scene took place.
Yeah, terrifying. It sounds amazing to me.
Yes, but imagine it from their perspective. Shepherds are not used to being the first to receive big, important news.
Hmm.
In fact, shepherds are not used to having anyone pay much of attention to them at all, especially not these heavenly messengers.
Hmm. Isn't it interesting that God chose to tell them the news first? Why didn't God tell the people in charge?
That's a really good question. But I think it's just another one of the meanings of Christmas. God didn't send Jesus just for all the most important people, the people who are already having power and in charge of a lot of things. God didn't just send Jesus for the rich people or the good people, not just for those who made your nice list, Santa. God sent Jesus for all people, for the whole wide world, so that everyone would know about God's love.
That makes sense. It's a little different at the North Pole. I mean, we always go to Mrs. Santa to find out because she's the one really in charge. I didn't realize how much really it is the meaning of Christmas. But I also feel like I can sum it up pretty simply. Don't be afraid. God is with us. Go share God's love with the world.
You got it. Don't be afraid. God is with us. God loves us. Go share that love with the world.
Even though I really didn't understand the whole meaning of Christmas, I feel like I had already heard that message because that's why I do what I do. I want everyone in the whole world to feel loved and special.
Exactly. And that's the meaning of Christmas. God loved the whole world so much that God sent Jesus to be born among us. And every time we share that love, just like you do for all the children on Christmas Eve, then we're helping to spread that message. We're helping to share the true meaning of Christmas.
Well, thank you, Pastor. I've really enjoyed this time together, but I better get going. The elves are rumbling in the other room, and I can hear out back, I can hear the reindeer getting very excited, like they know they're going to go do the annual trip and do something really special. I still have a busy night ahead of me. Just one more thing. There's a little something for you and the boys and girls back behind Joseph underneath the tree.
Back there. Santa, I got everything all set up tonight. I didn't see anything back there.
You better go take another look.
Okay. What? How did this get here? Let me see
Well,
what's inside. Looks like 2 ornaments.
Oh, excellent. Yes, there is a candy cane, and it's shaped like a shepherd's hook, and a Santa hat to remind us of our little talk. We're all learning about the meaning of Christmas, no matter how old we are.
Thanks, Santa. We're going to remember the meaning of Christmas by listening to the stories of God's love from the Bible. We'll hear this whole Christmas story again in just a few minutes, along with a few passages about how God prepared the world to receive Jesus, with a few of the scriptures from the Old Testament. And then we're going to sing some more carols together and celebrate God's love born in the world. So I hope you have a great night, Santa. And thanks for all that you do to share God's love with others.
You too, Pastor. I think I'm going to get some of the elves to watch while I'm out delivering presents, to watch the service so they can hear the story read.
That's a great idea.
Merry Christmas to you, Pastor.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Ho, 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 ho.
Stay
Elves,
safe out there tonight.
Get ready, elves. Come on, let's get it loaded up.